Meet the man who built the universe with no help. This is going to be interesting. My name is Brian White. I was born in Baltimore, Maryland, December 15, 1990, to teenage parents. Oh, look at me. I was a handsome little baby, huh? I grew up in a household with a single mother and a grandmother. 6 of us in total. My grandmother's kids, and of course, me. Around about 9, my mother got married to a man who allowed us to have a better life. He allowed me to experience a different world, different opportunities, and I was able to tap into hidden gifts and talents that I didn't think I had. I discovered music at 9 years old. I fell in love with hip-hop. It was the thing that kept me going. Music was my escape from depression and anxiety. I fueled everything behind it because I believed so much in my music. I put my soul in it. I put my money, everything. And it was the way that kept me going. But life doesn't stop without failures. At 22 years old, I got into a situation with my family and I became homeless. At that time, I battled depression and alcoholism, to numb the pain of isolation and abandonment, feeling lost, feeling tired, going through so many trials and tribulations, losing everything that I once had, job, money, cars, everything that I had to pretty much start over from the start. And eventually I had to file bankruptcy. But it was a good thing because it was a fresh new start for me. Trade school saved my life. That's why I'm such an advocate for trade school, because without it, I don't get the opportunity to fund my dreams, which I still had the dreams of pursuing music. It was my way out, my outlet, and it was the way to fund it. So I did everything I could with the money. But on that journey, I found out I was diagnosed with sleep apnea, which changed the trajectory of my life and my health. I had to change my whole lifestyle from what I ate, because I was a trucker and I was eating and I was gaining weight. And during that period, it really affected how I looked and how I seen myself. And knowing that I had to go to the hospital a couple times because of emergencies, it made me change my life and my habits. I had to sleep with a CPAP machine to keep me from stop breathing. I guess due to alcoholism and other things like that, it affected my health. But the dreams of music kept calling me. I wouldn't quit. I wouldn't give up. I just put my head down and worked 70 hours a week for 7 years straight. Didn't get the chance to see my family for 300 days out of the year. And I just worked and I saved all my money. And I put all my money behind getting equipment and getting studio gear and getting microphones and building live performance sets and pretty much becoming self-sufficient, so I didn't need anybody to help me because I couldn't trust people with my vision. So I did everything I could to make my dream a reality. And even with failures and setbacks and rejections, I just wouldn't give up. I decided to leave trucking a year ago, and I focused on creating this new company called Nerdy Crew. It started off as a t-shirt business and a clothing business. I didn't know it would develop into what it's about to be now. I didn't know I would be doing animation. I didn't know that I would be building a brand. I didn't know that I would be building a company that would actually create a lifestyle brand. I didn't know any of this because my focus was music. I always thought music was the game plan. Music was the thing that was supposed to be the way out. It was the way to my success. And I guess I was wrong. You know, sometimes you know what they say is, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plan. You know, I thought I was trying to get into the music business and it just wasn't. And it wasn't just that I didn't have the talent, but it was just politics, but it was also resources, but it was also other things as well. And I had to pivot, and that's what I did. So God told me to leave it all behind and focus on a new path. And I did. I took 8 months of my time of just focusing on just creating something new. And every day I would create something. I would create a character. I would create some type of building block to get me to where I needed to be so I can be able to actually start this new found peace, this newfound thing that God told me to do. He said if they wasn't going to give you a seat at their table, you need to build your own table. And that's what I did. I chose to get into animation. I started thinking about my childhood and all the healing that I've been doing, because I've been going on a healing journey for like the last 2 years and just trying to change myself and become a better person. And I just remember all those things that I went through as a child, and that childhood trauma. As I was healing, I started creating all this stuff. I started creating all these cartoon characters. It started reminding me of what I was like when I was a kid, because I was a kid that had so much imagination. I had so much creativity. I had so much just no worry in the world. And when I started healing, that's when that creativity came back. And I just started creating all these cartoons and using technology and things like that, and using all the limited resources I had with limited funds. I just created everything. I would create music, I would create videos, I would create animations, I would create cartoons, I would create stories, I would write stories. I would just do all this work for a year and a half. And I had my little savings, and I used the savings to hold me off for a little while. And I just kept working and grinding and creating and making more things. And it allowed me to create so much stuff that I had so much abundance that it was in the tens of thousands. Like, it was crazy how much I was creating. It was like I tapped into like a part of me when I was healing that allowed me to create so much stuff that allowed me to just change my whole world. And that's when Nerdy Crew, this entertainment IP company, became a reality, and I built the universe. Now, people may say, how did you build a universe? Well, within that certain period, I was trying to get help to help me do animation, and nobody would help me. So I figured out how to learn how to do animation through technology and other resources, and I just researched and I figured it out. And with a lot of time and a lot of work and a lot of understanding of how to properly do things, I created Nerdy Crew, this entertainment company that now that I own 13 different franchises with different stories and different backstories and characters and things like that. I built a universe. I built what you would call Nerdy Crew universe through basically healing from all the childhood trauma, but also all the people I lost. I lost a lot of family members and friends and people that I really cared about. And the only way I knew how to get through it, and the only way I knew how to fight through all this negativity that I was facing and opposition that I had to use my creativity as a way to allow me to be the best version of myself. And that's what I did. I started creating all kinds of things, man. I started creating animations. I created a streaming platform. I created cartoons. I created 13 franchises. I created over 70 to 100 characters. I created multiple albums. I created hundreds of talking videos, hundreds of entertainment videos and live performance videos. And I just kept working and created toys and things like that. And eventually it just became so big of assets that I was like, wow, I just created all this stuff. Now I just got to find another way to continue to promote it. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now, is finding my way of taking these amazing assets that I built and promoting them to the world so that people can start healing and they can have their healing journey through these cartoons, through this lifestyle brand, through my life and my story. And hopefully this can inspire others to want to do better as well. So this is my story. A man who created a universe similar to Disney by himself with no help and limited resources. And I just want to thank everyone who took the time to listen.
2, 1. Nerdy Crew.